Today marks 10 years since the tragedy at Sandy Hook Elementary School in Connecticut. 20 first graders and 6 educators lost their lives 10 years ago today. A nightmare that no parent should ever have to go through, suddenly having to find the faith and the strength to move forward.
Joining us now is a parent that knows all too well about that, losing his 14-year-old daughter, Jamie, in 2018's Parkland school shooting, and the author of Find the Helpers, What 9/11 and Parkland Taught Me About Recovery, Purpose, and Hope. Fred Guttenberg. Fred, thank you for joining us. You faced something, of course, something a parent should never have to face at all. I can't even imagine what you've gone through and what you continue to go through. How did you find strength after what happened?
From the person over my shoulder behind me, Jamie. Toughest human being I'll ever know. Jamie was a kid who I always taught to do what's right and who always fought for everything she wanted. I'm her voice. My daughter died running down the hallway for her life. Made it within a single second. She was literally turning into the stairwell. She makes it in the stairwell, she lives. Within 1 second, knowing there was an active shooter at her back. I was on the phone with my son, who was in the courtyard, being told to run. And I had to convince him to run because he wanted to go save his sister. And while on the phone with him, we heard the bullet that killed my daughter, that killed his sister. I can't stop doing what I do now because I don't ever want another parent to go through that.
Yeah. Fred, our hearts absolutely break for you. Since 2018, you've been a very strong voice against gun violence. And you've tried to find common ground with supporters of the Second Amendment, not always easy. How do you go about having those conversations and trying to find that common ground with people who might disagree with you?
Well, your opening talked about 10 years since Sandy Hook, right? 26 killed. They didn't need to be. Parkland, which will be 5 years this February, I consider a very predictable event. The ones that happened after Parkland, I consider predictable events because we're not talking to each other about how to reduce gun violence. We have people who want to reduce gun violence, and then you have those who consider gun rights. They think of themselves as opposite sides when we're not. My father-in-law is a gun owner. My son has gone shooting. I don't hate gun owners. I don't hate the Second Amendment. When many on the other side of this issue suggest regularly that I do, they lie about who I am and what I want. So what I want is to work with gun owners and non-gun owners alike on how we can reduce the gun violence death rate, on how we can reduce instances of gun violence, on how we can reduce severity of gun violence injuries when it happens. There's 400 million weapons on the streets of America today. Let's work together to make sure the next time it's not someone you love.
Yeah, you just want to do what every parent wants to do is find a solution and stop this. It's been 10 years since Sandy Hook. Then we just witnessed Uvalde, tragically similar mass shooting resulting in the death of 19 children. We keep seeing this. How do we get things to change?
Well, and let's not forget, we have approximately 100 a day who die in shootings across America. I mean, in the hour that this interview is taking place, someone's going to learn they're a victim of gun violence. Someone's planning a funeral for a victim of gun violence. And someone is getting ready to be notified that they're the newest victim of gun violence. And so how is it going to change? We have to stop making this an issue of right and left and of you either are on the side of wanting to save lives from gun violence or not. And if you want to save lives, let's work together to do this. We have to talk. We can't keep talking at one another, over each other's shoulders, screaming and yelling. We have to be able to respect the rights of gun owners, but we have to be able to have honest conversations over who should have a gun, who shouldn't have a gun, when a red flag law is appropriate, what background checks should look like. We've got to be able to talk to one another about those honest things because someone is out there right now getting ready to kill somebody, and we can stop that if we do this together.
And maybe all gun violence, gun violence on city streets, gun violence in schools, all gun violence. I'm glad you brought that up. You tweeted out late last night about your appearance here on Newsmax this morning.
Sure.
You wrote, quote, "It might come as a surprise to many, but tomorrow morning at 7:30 a.m. I'll be on Newsmax discussing 10 years since the Sandy Hook shooting and gun safety. I'm thankful to have the opportunity to speak with that audience." I saw that, Fred, and I retweeted it.
I saw.
And look, we appreciate you being on. Frankly, I wish more people that we might have disagreements with would join us so we can have real conversations like this. So thank you for that. Did you get any pushback about your appearance with us this morning?
No, I didn't. And I'm just, listen, you may or may not know this. I live 10, 15 minutes from the Boca Raton Newsmax studio. I have been in the Newsmax studio in Boca lots of times to do interviews that were scheduled using your space for other networks. And I've always asked, let me get on with the Newsmax hosts. I've wanted to get on your network for years since my daughter was killed because I want to be able to have these conversations. I just never got the invitation. So I'm thankful that I did. This is a conversation that needs to happen, not just with those who agree with me, but with those who don't. It's easy to talk to those who you agree with, but it's important we make sure we talk to those who don't so we can find a way to agree.
Yes, and Fred, we thank you for coming on. You have an open invitation to come on our show on Newsmax. We thank you for taking the time. We have to go, but I want to remind the audience, your daughter Jamie was 14 years old. She was a straight A student, and she dreamed of being a pediatric physical therapist. So we think of you, we think of your family.
Child.
And we hope that that you have a good holiday. Thank you, Fred. Please come back on and see us. Thank you. Thank you. And we will be right back.
No crooked establishment.
None of that twisting the
truth.
No talking down to me.
Don't tell me how to think.
Don't tell me how to think.
Don't tell me how to think.
I trust Newsmax.
Newsmax.
They don't tell me how to think.
They let
me decide.
Newsmax.
Real news
For real people.